Yeah, the biggest surprise has been really the difference of perception between what Criteo is perceived and what it is really about. So that's been really my biggest takeaway. The needs of the advertisers and agencies are pretty clear. Like they want more like simpler, more effective solutions to perform. This industry has been like kind of swinging for 20 years from opacity to transparency to performance to full funnel to a lot of themes. And I think so. The reason I really love what we're doing at Criteo, even though it's been only 5 months, not even, is we're sitting on a huge shopper graph. Like we see every day 750 million qualified users globally. We have 5 billion SKUs that are mapped to these users that we mapped with all the campaigns and all the partners that we've had for 20 years. We see $3 billion of transactions a day. So it's gigantic ability to help agencies and advertisers to deliver performance. And this has been going on for 20 years. So for 20 years, like there's 1,000 engineers at Criteo that have been like improving the performance algorithm to deliver performance. So performance has been an obsession in this company, whether it's retail media or media. And yeah, that's great. So that's been my biggest takeaway in 5 months.
So Ed, considering the obsession with performance, the performance landscape obviously has become increasingly complex and fragmented, kind of like the rest of the world in a lot of ways.
Yep.
From your perspective, what are the biggest challenges enterprise and SMB marketers are facing today when trying to drive consistent sales?
It is definitely like fragmentation. Like if you're SMB, or I would argue even like a larger advertiser, like you face probably the same problem. But for SMBs, like your budgets are more limited, and you don't have 1,000 shots on how to try to actually promote your products or services. So getting a solution that is going to provide you multiple choices in terms of channels and the best optimization of your campaigns is a leap of faith. So I think this is the biggest challenge. The other additional challenge in all this is the noise. So there's fragmentation and noise. Everybody is AI right now, so like whatever agent I can find. So I think there's probably more trouble here. So getting just like trust on a path to test something and see if the agent is real and what it's tied to is really I think the advice I would give them.
And I want to dive into that idea of all the ad noise that is out there that marketers have to sift through. With so many signals and channels to manage, for Criteo, how can marketers make more confident and effective decisions?
Yeah, I think it's really about trying. So you have to be iterative. I see the journey of advertisers and agencies right now as a staircase. And if you're not going to crack the code in like two seconds. Like what I heard at Possible the last, 36 hours is not only there's a fragmentation issue, but there's a measurement fragmentation issue. So it's not just about like the multitude of choices on retail media or media. It's about like, what is performance? And what I heard the most in the last 36 hours is like, everyone is searching for incrementality. And I'm like, if someone cracked incrementality in the last 20 years, like it would be a mainstream model. And it's not. It's not there. What you can aim for is the closest thing to incrementality. And you have to define what it is. So you need to define your own attribution or conversion model and define what it means for you as a close to incrementality solution. So that's, I think, the challenge. On our end, like we believe that this is about really cross-channel and full funnel. So we aim to become that, and we aim to be the simplest self-service platform of the time. That's not who we were. So we're really on this journey, but we're already working on open web, so display, online video. We're doing also social, like we work with Meta. We work with OpenAI, we work with CTV broadcasters. So that's this idea of like, you have all these channels and what is your performance model, and trust someone to actually deliver the best way, the partner can based on your model. But you have to work backwards what your performance means.
And earlier you alluded to the hype surrounding AI these days, especially agentic AI.
Yeah.
From a marketer's perspective, where are you seeing real practical impact today across areas like targeting and creative?
So I think everything that you see with MCPs, the model protocols, that are out there. Like there's now like I see this as like a new version of APIs, and there's ways to actually bridge now like two entities and do things. I'm kind of looking at what's real, like how many campaigns really run through MCPs, like from one buying entity and one intermediary entity or like a supply entity or whatever we call it. We just did one 2 weeks ago in France with Dentsu as an agency. They were able to, with an LLM, to access our managed service console because we didn't release a self-service console for agencies yet. But they found a way to, with the LLM, to get access to our API and to buy the managed service console, but in their office, like with their traders. And that's real. That's a campaign that they delivered. So I see this as the premise of like the real new version of the industry. I think it's going to take some time because, funnily, it's a local scrappy team that has done it, not necessarily the big like technology building team, but that's a sign that it's coming. So that's going to be real. The question is like, how fast is it going to take? Like, how fast is it going to be? Sorry, not take. Is it like a year out, like 2 years out, 3 years out? And all this is also going to provide this ambivalence of what I talked about between performance and transparency. Like all these models are going to be kind of obfuscated because if they're all public, then everybody's doing the same thing. So it's kind of a challenge.
Ed, since the launch of Criteo Go last month, what early feedback or results have you heard from marketers? And what does that signal about how their expectations are evolving?
Yeah. So we launched like a bit more than a month ago. It was April 1st. So it's a very recent launch. It's the first deliberate self-service UI that we've created in 20 years at Criteo. So that's a sign of a change really within Criteo. The early signs are a lot of feedback about like the UI and how the first SMBs that are going live go to. The campaign types have been already tested with our managed service campaigns for like months. And so we have enough uplift of this agentic technology being better than our managed service capabilities by 28% in performance. So that's great performance. Another feedback we get is the onboarding process. We actually build an agent. So if you're a Shopify shop, you can put the URL of your Shopify shop, and it's gonna the agent is gonna basically swap all your SKUs, automatically upload your SKUs in the Criteo SKU catalog, and upload tags on your Shopify shops, like the Criteo tags, and then you're on. So that's also removing a lot of complexity, which is what we aim to do. So a lot of great feedback about making it simpler, faster, and more performant.